we make a video of each of our keynote speakers and post it to the Vancouver Business Network YouTube channel so that we can support entrepreneurs around the world grow better businesses. But of course, all that assumes that I have clicked the record button. Welcome to Vancouver Business Network, where entrepreneurs learn, network, and grow. I am Roger Killen, the organizer. Our speakers this evening are Andrew Scherle and Gavin O'Halloran. Over the past decade, Andrew worked with top design agencies in Vancouver before opening his own design firm called Early Creative. His goal is to help passionate business owners take control of their brand. Gavin has been working in the marketing trade for nearly a decade. He works with local businesses to help boost their online visibility. Gavin's belief is that your marketing should do its job, which is to bring in more customers. Andrew and Gavin, take it away.
Thank you very much, Roger. Thank you for having us here today, an opportunity. Hello again to all the VBNers out there, and hello to everyone else tuning in around the world. We're really excited for today, isn't that right?
Yeah, we sure are.
We've got some great content here to share with you guys. So what's it all about? How to improve your brand and found it online. So branding, aka the face of your company, how you are perceived by your prospects, your partners, and your peers, and then how to get your brand found online, which is the digital marketing or the promotion side of the business. Two very important topics and very pertinent to the time we're living in right now. Both myself and Andrew, we're small business owners like yourselves. We've gone through the same struggles. How do you stand out from the crowd? How do you find your edge? How do you attract more customers? So we're going to share with you some things that we've learned along the way that have helped us, and hopefully that can help you too. So we're going to break it into two sections. Andrew's going to speak first on the branding side, and then I'm going to jump in halfway and talk about how to get the brand found online. So some key takeaways for today. At the end of the presentation, we want you to be able to know how to create a brand that excites your customers, how to create a brand how to improve your brand to extend its lifetime. And then we want you to have some actionable strategies, how you can successfully grow your brand's visibility online. Okay, let's get straight into it. So over to you, Andrew.
Thank you, Gavin. Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Scherle. As you heard before, I am a brand consultant with Early Creative, where we specialize in creating brands and branded experiences and help businesses, usually small businesses, that are looking to discover the full potential of their business, of their brand. As business owners, we all face some various challenges when it comes to starting a business, whether it's growing our business in different areas. And some of these challenges are just not seeing the result of your efforts in your business. And when you try to put it toward your brand, you may not be attracting the right customers, or maybe even lacking momentum and excitement amongst your customers and yourself, even when it comes to showing up for your business every day. And the other thing is your current brand might appear outdated. Maybe it's been a while since you considered revamping your brand, and you just need to take a look at it again and make sure that it feels like it's relevant and it's working for you and your target market that you're trying to reach. So before we get into talking about how to improve your brand, I really wanted to define what a brand is, because there are lots of different perceptions around what a brand is. Is it a logo? Is it a brand identity? Is it a product or a service? It's actually none of those things. To define what a brand is defined by what your customers say it is, believe it or not. The perception that our customers say about our brand is what it is. So if we think about large companies like what you see on the page here, such as Nike, Coca-Cola, or Apple, we don't just see the logo with a check mark or a scripted font or an apple with a bite out of it. We see the actual experience that is created around these brands. These companies have invested millions of dollars to ensure that their businesses are are in our minds all the time, and we recognize them at various elements of where they are located. So as business owners, it is our job to define what our customers are saying about our business.
Andrew, you've gone quiet. Andrew, you've gone quiet. Gavin and Andrew, we can't hear you.
I think they lost their signal. They did.
Yes, they did. Well, this is a little embarrassing.
No, it isn't. It's just growing pains.
Now, let's see where they went.
It's a new agenda. Tell a joke.
This technology.
Yeah, they aren't. They are no longer with us. I'm certain they'll be back any second.
You want a quick joke, Roger?
Can somebody text them or phone them?
A quick, who offered to do the quick joke?
Carl DeYoung.
All right, Carl, go for it.
This lady was out on the front streets scraping off a bumper sticker that says how great her two children were in school. You know, they're grade A students, and somebody walks by and said, "Homeschooling isn't what you thought it would be, eh?"
That's so bad.
I loved it. I loved it.
Okay, amuse yourselves. I'm going to try and call Gavin.
The other one I liked was Dennis the Menace sitting at the table, and his two parents are standing over him. He says, "I'm getting tired of eating groceries."
Hey everyone.
Thanks for enjoying my jokes.
Technical issues. Hopefully you heard most of what I was talking about.
No, we didn't hear anything.
Is that Andrew?
Yes.
Yeah, we're back.
Okay, where did you go?
We decided to take a little break. Our internet decided to block out for a sec there, so we're back on.
All right. So do you know where you pretty much left off or where you vanished?
You know where I left off. I hope you heard. I'm not really sure where you guys heard me leave off, but
Can you,
Okay, well, you just
The,
start.
the definition is where they left off.
perfect. That's great. That's a great place to left off.
can you make me host again, please, Roger?
Sure. Screen is not what you want. Participants. Gavin, more, make co-host. Okay, you're now co-host again, so you can share screen. That was exciting.
Yeah, something new every time, I bet. Well, thank you guys for your patience and your understanding. So we had just finished talking about the definition of what a brand is. So really just focusing on our customers being the people that have a say in what our brand is. So without further ado, I wanted to talk to you about 3 ways in which we can improve our brand in our society today. The first way to improve our brand is to gain clarity. So this should be the first step in any improvement efforts that we make when it comes to our brand. There are several ways in which there are a few ways in which we should gain clarity, and in the marketing world, we call this the 3 C's. So if you're gaining clarity about your customers, your competitors, and your company. So about your customers. So gaining clarity about your customers, in this stage, we want to ensure that we know our customers, because we know now in the definition of a brand that our customers are the ones that define what our brand is. So it's so important that we understand who our customers are. And a lot of people tend to think when they're new to business that, oh, my customers are everyone. But the truth is, not everyone is going to buy your product or service. So it's not really much a point of putting all that effort into everyone as your customer. So we want to ensure that we're very specific about who our customers are. Do the research about their age demographic, what interests they have, what are their values, what other brands are attracting them. These are all ways in which you can gain clarity about our customers. The second C that we can is our competitors. So we want to make sure that we understand who our competitors are and who we're in the market with. This might sound odd to really know and understand our competitors, but I can guarantee you that if we learn about our competitors, if we know what they're doing well and what they're not doing well, we can really position our business and to differentiate from them or even collaborate with them. And really, once we have a better understanding of who we're in the market with. And finally, the third C that I want to talk to you about is gaining clarity about our company. A lot of businesses, some of you mentioned that you started a brand without, we started a business without establishing a brand first, which is great. It's great that you were able to kick at it and hit the ground running. But when it comes to business, we want to make sure that we understand our values, our goals that we have for the future, what our company mission is, who our customers are, and who's being attracted to our company. These are all things that we need to understand in order to make the best decision for our brand moving forward. So with all this information in mind, our customers, our competitors, and our company, this will create a pivot point in making our brand the right moves for our brand. And that leads us to the next slide. So choosing your next move. So when choosing your next move for your business, we want to make sure that we're choosing the right direction. Now, there's so many different directions that we could take our business, whether it's just a slight change or a massive change. And today, for the purpose of this presentation, I want to talk about 2 ways in which you can improve our brand in the right direction. So the first way is called a brand refresh. And to define what the brand refresh is, it is essentially updating the visual appearance of our brand's identity, whether that's changing the look of your logo, your brand identity. So essentially, if you think about, if you're in a house and you have this beautiful decor, but there's this one wall that just feels like it's off-putting, the easiest way to update that, refresh that wall or that space is just to put a fresh coat of paint on it and just change the color. So that's essentially what a brand refresh is, almost like a makeover, just changing different elements of your brand in order to update the visual appearance. So some reasons that we'd want to approach our business with a brand refresh or improve our business with a brand refresh is to update components within our brand identity. So for example, your logo design, that could be something that might not be representing your business well or your values, and it might just need to be updated to attract a different target market. Your colors and typography are what we use to communicate the voice and the tone of our business and our brand. So we want to make sure that we're using colors that are really specific to the message that we're trying to create. And brand collateral. So that relates to websites, stationery, anything that's related to what your customers are in contact with your business. We want to ensure that all that is cohesive and consistent across the board. So if we look at an example here, this is the website we designed for a massage studio called Healing Tree Massage. And their challenge was that they weren't really, their brand and their colors and their typography wasn't really speaking the message of their business. So what we did was we created a brand identity, just updated the brand to reflect their customers and their desired reach, and to be able to better communicate their business to their customers by switching up the colors and creating some graphic elements and updating the font so that it just felt more unique to them. The second direction of improving your brand is to do a rebrand. So if a brand refresh is essentially repainting a wall, a rebrand would be tearing down that wall and building up something new in its place. So in other words, it's reimagining the entire look of your brand from the ground up. So it would be looking at different strategies, changing your business strategies. If you're in a business and you're attracting a market, and that market isn't the one that isn't really doing you justice, then definitely we want to do a rebrand in order to attract that market that we're trying to reach. Perhaps you've changed your business name. So if you change your business name, you might think, okay, well, this isn't working for me in this current direction, so I'm going to switch to a rebrand in order to ensure that my business is accurately represented. Or even you might have just acquired a new business, or you've undergone some new management. You might be realizing, okay, well, our values aren't really resonating with our current brand, and we're not really speaking clearly to our customers. So we want to ensure that our brand really represents our business. So a great example is of a client that we work with called Liquid Amber Tattoo. They're located in Vancouver here. And this is their existing logo from a few years back. And they were targeting, their brand just felt like very similar to other tattoo shops in the Vancouver area. And it wasn't really differentiating, and they weren't really reaching the target market that they were after. They were actually after a target market that was a high-end female demographic that would come back for returning tattoos. So we created this logo as an update just to really freshen up the space, to create a more inviting, welcoming look that was consistent across every touch point that we created, whether that's print and digital to their signage and their environmental design. So this, as you can see, was a complete transformation, essentially what we refer to as a rebrand. Finally, the third way in order to improve your brand is to maintain consistency. Now, if we don't get anything out of this presentation today, I highly suggest that you just take a look at your brand and see if it's consistent. A lot of you said that you're happy with your current brand, but is it consistent across every area of your business? You want to ensure that in order to maintain consistency, whether that's through your business cards, your website, every area that your customers come in contact with your brand, you want to make sure that's consistent. So again, if we look at Liquid Amber Tattoo, we created similar colors, graphics, shapes, and imagery in order to maintain consistency across every platform that customer would have and come in contact with their brand. And consistency really allows that customer to know who they are. So what are some of the values of being consistent? It really creates familiarity amongst your customers. It keeps your brand memorable. It builds trust amongst your customers. It becomes easy to recognize because people, when they see your brand once, they'll see it again another place, and they'll begin to recognize it more easily as time goes on. If you think of companies like Nike, Apple, you begin to recognize it and know their brand just by picking up a piece of paper that has their brand on it. And it really establishes authority within your industry amongst your competitors, differentiating your business. So let's sum it up. So we talked about the challenges that many business owners face, and we're not alone. There's so many businesses that go through this every day, every year, how to improve your business. So I just really want to encourage everyone here that if you have a business and you're facing the challenges, there's always options to change it. We talked about gaining clarity, the three ways to improve your brand, and that's gaining clarity in your business, whether that's through C's, to competitors, your customers, and your company. We talked about choosing a direction that would allow you to move in the right move, take the right decisions in order to improve your brand. And finally, the most important, I would say, is to maintain consistency, both offline and online. And that's where I'm going to hand it over to Gavin to give you more information about how to build your brand online. And he will take it from here. Thank you so much for the opportunity, you guys. I'll be back after Gavin, and we can answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Andrew. If you have any questions now, this would be a good opportunity to unmute yourselves and ask them of Andrew before we transition to Gavin.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Roger. Thank you.
Any questions from anyone?
I'll have a question, if I may, Roger.
Yeah, far away, Carl.
How do you determine, I'll say financially, or when do you have to rebrand and start over again? Look at Coca-Cola. I mean, they've had their image for so lot longer than I've been around.
Yeah, absolutely. It really depends on the customer base that you're trying to attract. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to rebrand. That's kind of why I talk about a brand refresh as well, because a brand refresh will allow you to pull out specific areas of your business. So Coca-Cola is a great example. They have had the same logo over time, but over time they have adapted and evolved their brand and their logo, just to changing the way it looks in different areas, in different campaigns. So there's lots of opportunity to improve. And just as time goes on, technology changes. So it's important to always keep it updated and fresh.
Okay.
Any other questions for Andrew? Hearing none. Gavin,
All right.
wow us.
Covered, yeah. All right, here for Gavin.
Thank you, Andrew. So Andrew has shared some great tips, some great advice there for those who are unsure or lacking direction in your brand. And that's step one. So the second piece of the puzzle is setting ourselves up so that we can get found by our customers and getting our brand into the hands of our customers. That's what we're gonna look at now. So what now? You've worked with Andrew. You've identified your brand and your brand strategy. Now it's about getting your brand to show up where it matters. So this is what I'm referring to here. We're referring to something like this, the Google search environment. This is the first place where your potential customers are going to search for your services. So we need to be working on activities that are going to help promote our brand and get exposure here. Or it could even be here. How do we work on activities to get our brand to show up here in the Google Maps? Or it could even be here on a third-party site. How do we get more exposure and to get our company to the top of the listings? So let's take a look at the search landscape here for a moment, and I'll just try and break it down for you. So we're all familiar with this. If you search for anything on your phone or on your laptop, this is what you'll see. At the very top, you have the Google Ads, which is also called pay-per-click. This is a paid position. You're paying for the right to be there, and the costs vary depending on what industry you're in. Then in the middle, you have the Google Maps, or the local pack, it's sometimes called. And this is linked to your Google My Business page. Better optimized your Google My Business page, the better exposure you're going to have here. And then below that, you have the organic search results, which are earned positions over a period of time. So you have a choice here. If you want to get exposure in front of your customers, you can pay for the position to be there, or you can earn the right to be there by implementing tactics over the course of a period of time. So we're going to look at how we can grow our organic reach today. So first, we've got to take care of some fundamentals. The first thing we do is we want to make sure that we're building a strong foundation. And at the heart of everything we do online, it starts with our website. Why? Google's going to read and analyze every single element of your website to determine how valuable you are as a business, as a brand, as an influencer to the people who are searching for your services. And what's expected of you. There is a minimum barrier to entry. Your website's got to be structured correctly. It's got to have the sufficient amount of content, and it's got to be technically sound the way they want it to. And then they're going to benchmark you against others in the field to determine how valuable you are and where to place you. So then we're going to just make sure we're paying particular attention to the technical essentials. So we're ticking all the technical boxes, which we're going to look at now. So these are the 5 technical website essentials. Your non-negotiables, which you need to take care of. Is my website fast? Is it secure? Does it have the padlock on the top left-hand corner? Does it work on all devices? Does it have the basic SEO structures in place? And is it easy to navigate? Does it make sense for the user. Items like time on site, bounce rates, and how many pages per session. These are all important metrics which Google is analyzing to determine how the strength of your website overall. So next most important part of the fundamentals is content and content strategy. This is a massive topic in itself. We're only going to scratch the surface here today. If you want to get deep into content strategy, there's a great guy called Tyler Bazoo, I believe. Roger, I believe he's been on here before in the VBN. He teaches you how to create content in a really efficient manner. So you would definitely check him out. And so with content strategy, you've worked with Andrew and you've identified your brand and your brand strategy. You have your imaging, your messaging, your logos, your tone of voice, etc. Now it's about communicating your brand to your customers, and you do that through content and a content strategy. So we'll go into a little bit deeper now to explain that. So are you talking about blogging again? Blog all day, every day until you drop. Yes, there seems to be a negative association with blogging, the term blogging. I don't know exactly where it comes from, but let me explain what I feel the difference is here. So if you're writing articles or blogs or content as part of a strategy, you're doing it in a logical, it's purposeful, in a structured way that's actually answering the questions which your customers are posing. So you're really writing content for your customer rather than for yourself. So that would be the difference, how I define it. So why is it important to have a content strategy? It's important to have a content strategy because Google's looking to see that you're providing fresh content being churned out on a consistent basis. Your customers are looking for you to be engaging them and to be providing useful bits of information. And then thirdly, having a content strategy in place is going to help guide everything that you do in the online world. So and this is going to help keep you on track. It doesn't have to be hard. You just dedicate the time. You can block off 3 hours every second Friday, and that be your content creation day. And the only way I really know how to do content strategy is to keep it really simple. I don't have time to be writing all day and creating content and creating graphics. So let's try and make it as efficient as possible. This is the way I look at it. You want to choose your medium. So do you like to write? Do you like to be on video? Are you more audio? So podcasts will be your medium. Or are you more on the graphical side? Then when you choose your platforms, you have LinkedIn, Facebook groups, Instagram, Medium, or some specific industry sites where your industry blogs or websites where there's a lot of engagement. Next, you want to choose one core topic per month. From here, you're going to create a long form article, resource, or video. And from this long form article, you're going to chop it down into smaller pieces, and these are going to be supporting articles for your overall core topic. And then what you can do is you can pull quotes out of it, you can create graphics out of it, and this is going to form part of your overall content strategy. And then what you can do is you can use a free tool like Hootsuite to schedule the content and have it all sorted over the course of 2, 3, 4 weeks. If you wanted to take it to the next level, you could then look at creating what I call expert status content. What's this? Expert status content is creating types of content that is targeted at a specific problem, and it's going to educate your customers, and it's going to elevate your status above others. So some examples here, these can be ebooks, a how-to guide, infographics, webinars, white papers. So these are just some examples of how to create expert status content. The next part of the fundamentals is our reputation. So in the offline world, our reputation is noted in all the referrals we get, the partnerships, the business relationships we have, but in the online world, Google can't see this. So Google has to figure out a system to determine how reputable you are as a company. So it uses things like trust and authority signals. And these are signals to Google to say, okay, these guys are a real deal. And they are trustworthy and they deserve to have better position than others. So let's take a look at what exactly this means. So down at the tier 1 level, we have setting up all the basic profiles. So it sounds obvious, but you need to make sure that you have the LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and you have all these accounts set up. Your information is correct. Your graphics and your visuals are all consistent across all the profiles. Next, when you look at trusted business profiles. So these can be chambers of commerce or boards of trade, the Better Business Bureau, Trustpilot. Then you want to look at industry-specific sites. These could be trade associations, additional review sites, and listing sites. Some examples here for you. So for people in the trades business or the home service business, we have Home Stars, and we have Trusted Pros. For lawyers, we have the Law List and the Canadian Law List. And for startups, we have Crunchbase. And for counselors and therapists, we have BC Counselors. So find the ones within your industry. Make sure you're getting your listings set up and that your profiles are filled out entirely. When you do this, you want to make sure that everything is consistent across all your profiles. So particularly your name, the business name, the address, the phone number. If you've moved address, updated your information, you want to make sure that you're finding all the profiles that you have around the web and make sure that your information is consistent. Next part of you're managing your reputation is all about reviews. So important. Now, it seems as though a lot of people find it difficult to ask for reviews. They either feel weird about doing it or they don't know how to go about asking for a review, but it's such an important part of your reputation now that everyone really should have a strategy in place for growing the reviews they have. Let's take this example here. I'm searching for a dance studio and the results show 82 reviews, 4 reviews, 7 reviews. Which one am I gonna pick? I think the answer is obvious here. And the reason with Google reviews and particularly the review rating, there's no hiding anymore. When you search for a company name or search for a service, the review rating is right there in front of you. So you need to make sure that we're working on growing the number of reviews we have because it's so exposed. Next thing we want to look at doing is adding more review and reputation material to your website. These can be case studies, customer success stories, video testimonials. This is going to round out your entire reputation profile. And when you get a good review, don't be shy. Be proud of it. Get it out there and put it on social media and let the world see it. This is a client that I started working with a couple of months ago. They do racetrack driving experiences here. So I asked them, I said, John, how many years have you been in business? I've been in business 3 years. Roughly how many customers do you get per year? Between 60 and 100 customers. And do you ever ask them for reviews? He's like, not really, but we have a few reviews on TripAdvisor. I said, the first place where your customers are going to search for your services and come across your brand is in Google. And right now you only have 1 review. So let's work on a strategy for growing that. It's going to be really important for that first impression. So how else can we improve our online reputation? So let's think for a second. Let's consider links and mentions and shares. So this is how many websites and blogs are talking about our brand. How many times have we been mentioned How many times have we been given a shout out or shared on social media? Have we been in the news lately? Have we been interviewed? Have we been on a podcast? Has our product been reviewed? Have we spoken at an event? All these references and mentions, these are all like upvotes. Upvotes to say this company is the real deal, these guys are reputable. And this is what Google's looking at to determine your reputation. So see about building on some of these reputation signals moving forward. So think, within your own industry, what are some of the common authority signals, and how can you take advantage of them? Okay, so we've taken care of the fundamentals, which are having a rock solid website, having a content strategy in place, and taking care of our reputation and having a strategy to grow the number of reviews. Now let's look at some specific tactics for how you can promote your brand online. If you are a local business, this is the number one most important thing for you. You need to make sure you have your Google My Business page profile set up and filled out completely. There's loads of different features within it that are very useful to local businesses. This is what it looks like on the outside. So if you search for a company name, you have the information here on the right-hand side. If you click inside it, there's more information. You have the photographs, you have the review rating and the reviews. We're all familiar with this. And once you jump inside the dashboard, I would encourage you to make sure that you've got all the different areas filled out. So your information, the photographs, the products, the services. You want to make sure that your profile is filled out entirely. And the reason we want to do this is because this is where you'll see the benefit. The more optimized your profile, the better chance you have at showing up in the Google Maps environment. Another good strategy for you to grow your brand is to do partnerships. They're great for exposure. So identify who complements you. What business has the same target market as you? What you could do is you run an event together, do a webinar together, you could do a research paper, write an ebook together. So you're going to benefit here from the joint promotion of the exercise. So think who you can join forces with and what specific activities you can do here to gain traction. This is another activity that we do for our clients, is to identify guest post opportunities. So a guest post it's writing an article that's going to be featured on someone else's blog or website, and it's going to be featured in front of their audience. All right, so you want to look to try and locate blogs within your industry. And the way to do this is pretty simple. You just Google it. If you Google blog plus industry, Write for Us plus industry, you're going to find a bunch of different websites that are looking for contributors. So here on the right-hand side, we have Write for Us plus photography. And these are blogs who are screaming out for people to contribute to their profile. And you'd be surprised at how many websites are looking for contributors. So if you do like to write and you're good at that side of it, you can do some research to find some areas for you. Here's an example: Write for Us plus fitness, loads of fitness blogs. Even local ones, Write for Us plus fitness plus Vancouver. These are local websites looking for content contributors. Great for exposure. Next tactic, what you can do is to engage online communities. Great for exposure and great for growing your brand. Facebook groups is now the largest online community in the world. There's going to be groups within your industry. There's going to be groups that your customers are going to be in. There's going to be groups about creating groups. So find the groups where your customers are in and get inside and start providing advice and giving value. LinkedIn, I think from the poll results, a lot of us are using LinkedIn. Are we using it effectively enough? I'd say some are and some aren't. The idea here, your strategy here, is to build connections, to engage with your prospects and to start sharing your content, but also to be commenting and engaging on your prospects' content as well. The next online network that I would recommend is Alignable. I think someone mentioned it already before today, and I use this on a daily basis. It's great for building connections with local business owners. You can chat with them, you can ask questions. There's a Q&A forum as well, so that's a great network for building your online exposure. Next, you can look to Q&A forums, which examples here are Quora, Reddit, and there's a new one called Blur It. So here there are prospects who have questions and they're looking for answers. So if you can go in there, provide advice and show your expertise, this is going to be great exposure for your brand. Next, you could host online meetups. And I know a lot of us are completely zoomed out of it at the moment, but if you can find a way to create a smaller meetup targeted at a specific group, a specific target market, it could work out well. So see if you can do that. And lastly, network. There is no better time right now than to be networking. There are a ton of free online networking events available through the boards of trade, through the Vancouver Business Network. So make sure you take advantage of all these opportunities. And the result of all this is that the more exposure you have, the more brand search queries you're going to get. Now, what is that? That's how many times people search for your company name in Google. And that's a key indicator to Google, like these guys are important, these guys are reputable. So that's how it's going to help you. This is just one example of a way that we find opportunities for clients. For here, example, we are doing research for a landscaping company. We type it into Google, and the first result is Yelp. The second result is thewhos.com. So we found that it was going to be pretty hard to get this company to rank within Google in the short term. So what we said was, let's look to Yelp, and Yelp was less competitive. So what we'll do is let's put a bit of focus on Yelp, optimizing the profile, growing the reviews there, and we have a better chance at getting up to the top of the page. This is one strategy where you can find new opportunities. And this is another tactic that we do, is called digital stalking. So it's trying to find out what your competition are doing. So you just have to go here. It's a free tool. What you do is you insert your competitor's domain. It's going to spit back all the other websites that are talking about your competitor. So we're going to give an example here. We were doing research for a physiotherapy clinic, and this was their competitor, Physio Vancouver. So let's check out the reputation and what Physio Vancouver are doing. So you can see here, I'll direct your attention to the left-hand side, circled in red. What it looks like is there's a link on the Tennis Canada website referring to Physio Vancouver. And it looks like it's a resource guide on specific tennis injuries. So there's two things you can do here. What you can do is you can look at the resource and see if you can create a better one. If you can create a better resource, then you reach out to Tennis Canada and go, we created a more in-depth guide on tennis injuries. It would be great if you could share this with your audience. Or number two, what you could do is you could use this opportunity and look at other similar opportunities and say, what about Squash Canada or other racket sports? Maybe they need resources around specific racket sport injuries. So you reach out to them. So there are many, many tactics here that you can use to promote your brand online. I just touched on a few of them there. You can do contests and giveaways, challenges, free courses, beta groups. So the idea here is to trial some, and see if they work in your industry, and then move to the next one. So let's try and bring it all together for you now. And we're trying to wrap this up and bring it together. So your brand is, we're all at different stages of the journey. your brands is always evolving. Whether you've done a simple brand refresh, or it's a full rebranding, you're always allowed to make improvements along the way. The main thing here is that you are happy with your brand, and that you're maintaining consistency, and that you have a strategy in place for growing your brand. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more about branding side, or how to get your brand found online, we offer, Andrew offers a 30-minute discovery call, and I offer a free online presence assessment. So for those who are curious about this presentation, or want to learn more, or this sparks something, we offer some free help. So we definitely encourage you to reach out and avail of this offer. We just love helping local businesses. So that.
Thank you, Gavin. That was great. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions for Gavin?
Or Andrew?
Or me?
I have a question.
Okay.
This is Jackie.
Hey, Jackie.
About the reviews on Google My Business. I don't have any, but I have several, hundreds of testimonials. So now if I want the reviews, do I have, like I do hypnotherapy, so do I have to go back to each client and ask them for a review and then have them post it? Is that how it works?
Yeah, there's no way for you to do that yourself, unfortunately. You'll have to get them to do it. But there is an easy way to do it. From within the dashboard, there is a quick link, so you can copy and paste a direct link, and you can email your client with a link, and maybe you can copy the testimonial that you had before. So for them, it would just be about clicking the link, copy and paste the text into it, and it can be done pretty fast. So that might be a good thing to look at.
Okay. I haven't quite followed that, but I will check with you on how to do it. So, okay. Thanks, Gavin.
Gavin, a related question. Do LinkedIn recommendations carry much weight?
In terms of the user, someone reading your profile, yes. Specifically down to Google analyzing that, I haven't heard any reports of that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they are accumulating all the different reviews from around the web. The algorithm is intensely amazing, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're factoring that in, to be honest.
Thank you. Are there any further
I have a
questions?
question.
Mohammed,
Yeah, I have a question, Gavin. Can you give me quick tips for fitness industry? Because one of my client, they are doing currently local offline, but they wanted to go online. So can you give me quick tips for that?
Fitness is a very visual market, and you definitely want to have a YouTube channel. If you were here last week, you would have got some great tips on how to start your YouTube channel and monetizing your channel. Yeah, you want to be on Instagram for sure. It depends on the target market, of course. If it's individuals, if you're going after group sessions or more corporate level, I might have to give you some more ideas there if I knew.
It's more into like black belt karate classes and more one-to-one classes.
Okay. Maybe you could look at some partnerships as well. If the fitness personal trainer knows yoga center, doesn't know any other personal trainers or gyms or even physios and people in that sort of category, building out the referral and a partnership type of network, that might be a good idea.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Off you go.
Yay. I just wondered, because I don't have LinkedIn, and I'm just wondering how important is that? And everyone, I can hear everyone sighing like, oh, right now.
I would consider it an essential social profile to set up. at the beginning. So you have your Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I consider one that you definitely need. It then comes down to your target market and your target audience. So if they're going to be on that, can you show your brand on that and communicate and tell your story, share your wisdom? Then it becomes more important. So really be about is your target audience on there.
I'd also say, add to that, Gavin was talking about partnerships as well. And I found, in my experience using LinkedIn, I found it's a great place to collaborate with other business owners who may be in your industry. So, and even if they are competitors, it's just great to have an awareness of who is in your market and what kind of content they're putting out there, to see how they're using LinkedIn, so that you can compare and you can make necessary adaptations to your business to see, okay, well, this is what my competitors are doing. Like, is my business doing that, or what can I learn from that, and how you can improve and grow in that area? If that makes sense. So even if you don't use it actively, it's just good to observe and to make sure that you have an account, and just put yourself in that position as well, because your competitors are there. So you want to make sure.
Is that a business one, or is that a personal one?
I have both. I have set up a personal and a business one, just because you can see my profile and it links to my company. So it's good to have both.
Okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're so welcome.
Any final question? Hearing none. Gavin and Andrew, on behalf of Vancouver Business Network, I'd like to thank you for sharing this great information. There's nearly 40 of us online, and I'm pretty sure everyone got some great value from your words of wisdom. So I'm going to conclude this video, but don't go away.
Thank you very much, Roger.